So Kristen Cain we have such a story. We met years ago at Nine Retreat, which is a retreat for women. And Kim put this together. She'd asked me to be a speaker. I didn't even know what Nine was about. And I met you there the first year. We had a little bit of conversation. And then the second year, I came back. I was a speaker. You were a speaker. We were in the same house. And I just needed some me time. I just needed to get away. You were standing in the parking lot and I said, hey, do you want to go to the hot springs with me? And so this relationship really started in Chico Hot Springs. And I'm just so excited that you said yes. So for those of you who do not know, Kristen Cain, oh my gosh, you are just a badass. I just have to say that. She is seriously 5 foot nothing, but she stands 10 feet tall. And she is a stylist and a mindset coach. She is the mother of 3 amazing kids and married to Matthew Cain, who is also a badass. You are on the board of Nine, and it's just amazing to watch the transition. You give workshops, you teach women, you empower them with style, and it starts really within. We were talking about the mindset. But before we just dive into your topic, I just like to just first and foremost, thank you for being here. And just what did I miss?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I love our story too. I loved hanging out with you in the hot springs and having a little crash course in each other. And yeah, that's a very fond memory for me. I'm thrilled to be here. This is so exciting. And let's see, what did you miss? I don't know that you missed anything. I am a stylist sort of by trade, sort of by accident. My jobs in sort of high school on were retail. So I worked mostly in women's apparel, did lifeguarding and that sort of thing. But when it was time to have a job, retail apparel kind of caught my eye. And I did that up until the time I started to have those 3 kids. And the sort of the last job I had before I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years was at Neiman Marcus in the couture salon. And so it was heavy hitting retail. It was Armani and Chanel and customers with more money than, anyone should really be spending on clothing, in my opinion. And so it was just a really interesting learning experience on so many levels. And in that role, I was asked often to come to women's homes, to come there before the next trunk show or the next opportunity for them to buy for a season, to help them weed out the things that they really weren't wearing anymore and decide what they needed to bring in, which usually was nothing. And so it was kind of the early part of, I wasn't a minimalist then. I'm still not really a minimalist, but I didn't see style the same way. I saw the excess of style and it seemed a little ridiculous to me then. So that kind of planted the seed of, okay, how can we look great and not have to have these massive wardrobes that cost this massive amount of money? And then I was home for 14 years with kids. And in that time, I, didn't have a lot of money to spend on clothing. And I had a lot of friends who had kids who didn't have a lot of money or time to spend on clothing. And so we would kind of go in each other's closets and pick outfits with what they all, what we already owned, which was just sort of a fresh set of eyes on the things we already owned. And that kind of led to my business. It was sort of, okay, how can we get rid of the things we're not wearing? How can we better utilize the things that we love, that fit, that, we want to wear, and have a fresh perspective, on it all. I'm back in retail again, very part-time at Anthropologie as the personal stylist here in Boulder where I live. And that's just been kind of fun to have my foot in the door of retail. I really prefer to be in closets or fitting rooms with my own clients where I can shop anywhere and work on editing the wardrobe in the closet with a woman. So that's sort of where it all came from. And I love it. I really, truly, I really enjoy it. It's my happy place for sure.
So I jump around. Like I told you, this is
perfect. I'll keep up as best I can.
Well, first and foremost, I would love to have you in my closet. Finally, you and I had talked about this.
Whenever you say, you just name the day, I'm there. Exactly. It's your turn.
So do you do things on just like this where it is virtual now?
I do virtual. I did a very little bit of virtual before we went into the pandemic and lockdown and all of that. I now do more virtual, both speaking with groups more like this and one-on-one closets. I had a client on Sunday who I have never met in real life. She is 82 years old. She is one of the sharpest, wittiest, her brain fires faster than than most women I know, at any age. She reached out to me. We've emailed for months. She's going on a road trip with her husband, and she wanted to put a wardrobe together. And so she and her husband strung up a piece of pipe in his office, and she brought out all the outfits, and we Zoomed for 2 hours and picked outfits, and she held things up and tried things on. So yes, now I would always rather be in person, just energetically and physically touching the clothing and really seeing the colors. But I have realized that it does in fact work on Zoom to be able to do it with clients who I can't get to.
That's fantastic. All right, so let's jump into your topic.
Okay.
How to change your life by changing your clothes. I mean, this is a biggie. So what does this mean?
What does this mean? So I think what this means is we all have to get dressed. We live in a society where clothing is necessary. So every morning we make the decision to put something on our body, whatever that is, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, whatever it is, we make the decision to pull on clothing because we have to, and possibly because we want to, and we're using that as an expression of who we are, whether we're aware of it or not. And so I've realized with this work in closets and fitting rooms and talking to women that what we wear really has a ripple effect into the rest of our lives. And so as simple and basic as it sounds, by changing our clothes, we can theoretically change our lives. It's sort of that kind of, you have to start somewhere. And so it could be, changing the things you eat would change your life. It kind of doesn't matter where you start. I happen to start in the closet because that's my jam. And I have seen it now work so many ways that I wouldn't have seen in the beginning, that I didn't recognize in the beginning. When I would first start to get texts from clients after I would work with them in their wardrobe, they would say, I just rearranged my spice drawer, and it's amazing. And I can cook I love to cook now differently because I got rid of the 10-year-old spices. Or same thing with the garage or the medicine cabinet or the pantry, or their kids' drawers. It inspired them once they were wearing things that were really, truly authentic to who they are and how they wanted to show up. They started to show up differently in the rest of their lives.
I was telling you right before we went live, live like on the 5th time. I was reading this morning the book by John Maxwell, and he was talking about the law of the mirror. And he said, every aspect of our lives is impacted by the way we see ourselves. People are never able to outperform their self-image. And you and I had this conversation because about, 3 years ago now, you were going to come into my closet. You were going to come into my closet. You were going to help me rearrange, look at things. And I hated my clothes. But I didn't just hate my clothes. I hated myself. And it's crazy because I work in a leadership industry and I'm teaching people, but the student has to be the teacher. I believe it 100%. And I was dealing with self-image issues all of the time. And so the last thing I really wanted you to do was come into my closet because I didn't want to try on clothes because I didn't like the way I looked. So how do you work with someone like me who is in that place? Because it's one thing to say, change your clothes, change your life. But if someone doesn't like the way they look, how can you help them get there?
Right. I think like anything, you have to start small, or you're best served by starting small. It's sort of baby steps. And in the case of a client who really, it's two things. I think that first of all, I don't usually end up in a closet with a client who isn't on some level ready to have me there, because I'm not going to, I might barge into your home and demand to get into your closet. But for the most part, the client is ready at least a little bit to let me in. And so that little window allows me to then gently, kind of talk her through the edit and through what the issues are with her body and how she sees herself and how she might feel differently, in different clothing. So that I think is the first thing, that the client is usually ready. The times where I see clients who aren't ready and aren't receptive initially is more in the fitting room, where they might be a client at Anthropologie who just happens to come in because they have to have a dress or an outfit for something. And they're being kind of forced into this, okay, find something to wear. And I think in every case, in every age, every body type, every woman I've ever worked with, and it's been, from, age 16 or 18 all the way to 82 plus. So every woman, there is something that she puts on her body, no matter how much she loves her body, let's say in a bathing suit. every woman there's some article of clothing that she puts on and lights up. And so we could be through a dozen dresses and every single one gets sort of the grumpy face and you can tell she's not comfortable in it and it doesn't dazzle her. And then when she hits the one that actually is the dress that makes her come alive, you can't deny it. She comes out of the fitting room and looks in the mirror and there's a twinkle. She moves differently, whether it's a dress, whether it's a pair of jeans, whatever it is. There is an undeniable magic in finding that piece that lights you up. And my firm belief is that there should be nothing in our closet that does not produce that feeling. Nothing in our workout clothes, in our pajamas, nothing in our closet that doesn't make us light up. That doesn't mean we have to love our body in the process. And like a lot of things that are mindset related, we kind of have to act as if. We have to put on the t-shirt and believe, you know what, this t-shirt is beautiful and I actually love it better than any of my other t-shirts and I'm going to see how I feel today. And by lunchtime, if I'm miserable, I can put on the sloppy old t-shirt that I'm more comfortable in because I can hide behind it. But we have to kind of test the waters. And then I think it's in that testing that we start to gain confidence and we start to trust ourselves and we start to realize, wow, I actually felt better in this shirt today that was a little different for whatever reason than my lazy go-tos that I keep pulling on, but I don't feel great in. So it's not a matter of kind of attacking the coming at the, I hate my body as much as it's, which piece in your closet do you feel decent in? You know, which piece do you feel better in than the rest of it? And why? Is it the color? Is it the shape? Is it that it doesn't cling? Is it that it has a special memory? You know, where does the good feeling start? And then how do we add some more of that into the wardrobe over the course of the time that you would build a wardrobe? Not in one fell swoop where we walk out and we buy, you know, thousands of dollars of new clothing to change, but really accumulate like you would art in a home, or, you know, layering the interior of a home, adding the pieces as you find them and they really light you up so that ultimately you have a wardrobe that makes you look and feel amazing.
So the first step for people who are watching this, they need to find something that lights them up, something that they feel good in.
And the first step could be one of two things. The first step, super basic for this afternoon, could be walk into your closet and find 2 or 3 things that you actually like, that you like how you feel in them, or that you just like, even if they maybe don't fit anymore, or so that you would know, well, you know what, I always really like that, but this one doesn't fit. So I'm going to give myself permission to find something that's similar in a size that does fit, if it's a size fluctuation thing. Or I always liked this, but now I feel like it maybe is a little too immature, or I've matured and I'm a little different. So I need to find the new version of that goes with my 50-year-old self versus my 22-year-old self. But I can still have that same feeling, even though I am not wearing the one that's, you know, not super appropriate for my age. The other thing I think is women specifically, men are better at this in most cases. Women tend to want to shop to solve the problem. But if they don't know how they want to look, then the shopping just adds to the problem, because then there are sort of these rogue one-off sale, you know, random pieces that make their way into the closet that don't support the life they want to live, that don't support the person they want to become. And then it's just more clothing, and the frustration builds because it's more pieces they have to flip through before they actually find something they want to wear, and it's more money wasted. So there's really a clarity part. You can pick out the pieces you already own that you like, and those usually will kind of reflect who you want to be, you know, the direction you're going. Because if you like them today, that usually, if you do the work on the clarity of who you want to become, those pieces would still fit that. And then the other ones kind of fall away, and you learn what can be edited based on, well, if I want to show up as someone who is confident and comfortable and cheerful, then those dark, heavy, you know, unflattering pieces might not fit into that new idea that you have for your wardrobe moving forward and for yourself moving forward.
So what colors really portray confidence or power?
You know, I think that the color thing, I get asked a lot about colors. Well, what color should I wear? And I really over the years have struggled with that. I've done the color trainings, and my answer that really I come back to over and over again is you should wear the colors you feel the best in. It is a rare woman who puts on a color that completely washes her out and feels amazing in it. So if you come out of the fitting, you know, I don't really wear yellow because I tend to go pretty yellow when I wear yellow. So I'm never putting on a yellow top and coming out of the fitting room and thinking, wow, I look amazing in this. I might like the shape of it. I might like the fabric. I might like the, the silhouette and the way it hangs, but I'm never going to feel my best self in it because I don't like yellow on me. So and then by and large, yellow is not a color that anyone who does the colors where they layer them on you would pick for me because I don't light up in yellow. So I really feel like it's less about what the best color is for any reason other than when you look in the mirror, you think, oh my gosh, I love the way I look in this. That doesn't mean everybody else will like it necessarily, but I find usually when we wear the colors that look the best on us, that's when we get the most compliments because we light up in them and people see that and they are gravitated toward they gravitate toward that and they will say, oh my gosh, you look amazing in that color, because we do, because we feel it. Power colors, I think for feeling good and feeling professional and showing up powerfully, simple is usually better. A color like you have on, that just gets attention with a really pretty neckline that has some drama to it, but is still professional. That's really an always win. And certainly for suiting and that sort of thing, blacks and navies and charcoals, those are all still and will be forever, the classics. But I think it's a matter of picking the colors that light you up.
So what happens if we get stuck because we don't see what we don't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know
True.
what we don't know. And I know for me is if I look in my closet and when you have the chance to get here, although I'm working on it, my hair colors change. So literally that
changes everything.
It changes everything. Like, wait a minute, I used to be able to wear this. I can't wear this anymore.
Yep.
But I have so much black. Like I have so much black. And I find, well, at least the people I know, is that we gravitate towards the same color. How do we change our color palette if we don't see what we don't see?
Okay, good question. So I think it's really a matter of getting in tune with how you feel when you wear the garment. So when you wear the black, if you feel amazing, then black is probably a color that should stay in your wardrobe. If you wear the black as a safety color, that it's safe, I know I can wear it, I know, it's not going to show dirt and it's easy to pack and it always goes together. If it's the default that isn't making you feel great, then it's time to evaluate, well, how do I feel in navy, or how do I feel in dark gray, or how do I feel in bright red or ivory? Then it's time to kind of bring in other colors. It's only if you're dissatisfied with what's in there. It's not that an all black wardrobe can't work and look dynamite. Certainly it can. It's a matter of, do you feel great in it? When you put that on, do you feel like your best self, like the self that you're really trying to grow into? And if not, then it's time to dabble in, okay, well, how I feel in hot pink, or how would I feel in royal blue, or in navy, or something different. But I don't think it has to be, I don't think a wardrobe has to be colorful. This is truly one of the most colorful things I own. I'm really very much a neutral wardrobe person. Occasionally I'll pull on color because I like the way it lights me up, but not every day. That's not my go-to. So I don't think a wardrobe has to be colorful to be fabulous. I think it has to really be authentic and make you feel amazing in order to be fabulous.
Well, even the color scheme, when you were talking about hot pink, I flashed into the times where I was not confident in my appearance. The last thing I ever wanted to do was put on colors that were vibrant. I went to the muted colors. It was almost as if I wanted to hide so that I didn't attract.
And that makes sense. It makes complete sense. And a lot of women are like that. And usually with a client, if she's kind of ready to dip a toe into the world of color, when she's sort of been using the drab neutrals or black or navy as the hiding, as a place to hide, then we'll start with a scarf, or we'll start with a blouse that can go under a cardigan or under a jacket, where most of what you see is still the dark color she's familiar with and comfortable in, but there's a pop of color that makes, or a shoe even, if it's, because a shoe is easy since you don't have to fit it in the same way that you need to fit into a pair of pants or a top. If we're talking about, a weight fluctuation, shoe size usually stays basically the same. So put on a pair of hot pink shoes, or a pair of bright red shoes, or leopard shoes, where the shoe can be the thing that's more fun and a little more daring, and the rest of the outfit can still be completely plain.
The law of the mirror this morning, also there was a quote that said, if we don't value ourselves, we won't put value into ourselves. And at the same time, they said sometimes you have to come from the other end. So if you don't value yourself, sometimes you have to put value into yourself so that you can. I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. And it's even what you were saying is that I believe self-image, and not just women, men have it too.
Right.
is we have to figure out, if we don't have a self-esteem, or if we're not valuing ourselves, how do we put value? It could be a little thing, it could be a necklace, it could be a pair of shoes, it could be earrings, it could be something, but we have to start somewhere.
Yep, exactly. I completely agree with that. And I think that it goes back a little bit to that sort of act as if, I don't usually say the fake it till you make it, but kind of the same concept that if you just try something as simple as putting on a necklace, how do you feel? How do you feel when you walk past a mirror? How does it feel against your skin? Does it make you feel like, wow, this is a little bit of an upgrade and I feel a little bit prettier, a little more special? And I have worked with clients. I can think of a couple different clients where we just upgraded their home clothes. We were all home last year and they weren't wearing any of their real clothes, but the clothing that they were wearing around the house was pretty much all demoted from, it used to be real clothes that they would wear out in the real world. And then it got downgraded to just be the hangout clothes because it was no longer really appropriate for the real world. And so walking around the house for a year in the schlumpiest clothing that you own, whether it's stained or ripped or too big or whatever the story is, doesn't really make anybody feel fabulous for long term. Like, okay, wallow in whatever it is, break up, you want to wear the old frumpy sweats, no problem. But if that goes on for too long, it really affects our psyche. And so just by upgrading these two women in particular, just by upgrading the things that they hung out at home in, and I mean, upgrading at Target or upgrading at Walmart, or on Amazon, not upgrading going to Neiman Marcus, but really just buying a sweatsuit, that you like, and it's a pretty color and it's soft and it feels good. Ultimately, then when those women were ready to put on something real, they looked in their closet and they were like, okay, what's the best thing I can find? Because the things that I was wearing before were kind of the lazy go-tos, the things that I was just pulling on. I didn't feel amazing in it. But now that I've up-leveled one area of my wardrobe, I want the rest of it to be up-leveled. And I have another client who, beautiful young woman, she found me on Instagram and she had recently had a double mastectomy. And she was really struggling with newly married and really struggling with body image and how to appear feminine. She didn't want to wear a bra. She didn't have reconstructive surgery. She was really struggling. And so we started with a necklace and with different kinds of draping, on either on the clothing that had a little bit of draping or interest, or wearing a scarf, sort of to help her ease into a place where she could feel confident in her body and feel female and feminine without having breasts any longer. And it was really, for me, a very touching, interesting journey to go along on her, with her. She bought herself a beautiful necklace, and then we kind of gradually worked into some camisoles that had lace on them, some things that we could drop into her wardrobe that she put on her skin and felt feminine and like she was healing. And so, it is the baby steps that, okay, from the outside, if I put on this better looking sweatshirt, how do I feel? Do I feel better than when I put on that old yucky one from a boyfriend that I don't even see anymore? And the answer is usually yes. The texts I get, seem to be the proof that yes, in fact, wow, that was a $7.99 upgrade from Target and I feel like $1 million in it.
I love it. Well, there's that saying, get up, dress up, show up. And talking about the mindset piece is, if we're not aware of what we're feeling, what's going on, we just put on the frumpy, the pajamas that, through the whole pandemic was sweats and pajamas or workout pants for the entire year. Might put on a nice shirt when you're on a Zoom call, but it really is, for me, it's the 1%. It's the little tiny things. And I've been really big into the 1%, like what can I do 1% today that will help me feel better or do better? And it could be, I'm just going to dress up today. I'm going to put on a nice shirt. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my makeup, because it's amazing how, even what you're talking about, and I've seen it, when I feel good about the way I look, it is the fake it till I make it. Everything changes. It is all of a sudden, even if I don't feel on the inside, but I can fake it on the outside, the inside starts to match up. And the same time is on the inside, when we do all the work on the inside, the outside starts to match up. And I've seen people with all of a sudden, and I go back because it's me, and I relate to this so much. The better I feel about myself on the inside, Like, I'm like, all right, Kristen, I'm ready for you.
Right. No, totally. I think years ago, I think it was Iman, who was married to David Bowie. I think I've read a quote that was by her that said something like, dress as if every day is a special occasion, and it will be. And I thought, you know what? There is a lot of truth in that. We really, how we show up really does have an effect on what our day looks like and how it flows. And I think one thing that I see so often with clients and in closets and in how they shop and then how they dress, because a lot of women buy amazing pieces and then they don't wear them. I think there's this sense of, well, I'm saving those pieces for when I have my life together, for when I have the job I want, for when I have, my house is cleaned up, or when I have the perfect date with the perfect man. And so I think we have this future self idea. I have clients at Anthropologie who dress for a life, in a villa in Mexico with no children. And I think, okay, you have toddlers and you live in Boulder. And so you have it really makes no sense. We have this future idea of, okay, well, when I'm happy, this is what I'll wear. And yet we ignore anything in our closet. And maybe we don't even buy those pieces. Maybe we just think, well, when I've arrived, I'm going to wear only cashmere sweaters. And then we have a cashmere sweater and we never put it on because it's like in our mind, we're saving it for when we've gotten to the place where we think we're going. But what if we put the cashmere sweater on today, on a regular Tuesday, and see how we show up in that cashmere sweater? We stop saving it for whatever the special occasion is and we wear it. Usually when we do that, we start to feel like we deserve the cashmere. We start to act like the person who's going to wear the cashmere every day, whether that's sitting down to do the work we've been ignoring or interviewing for the job. We start to up level. We rise to the occasion of, okay, now I have cashmere on. Who am I? What's the identity of the person who wears cashmere? Well, she behaves differently. She cleans up her kitchen. She washes her car. Whatever that is, that's where it kind of ripples. If we can put the clothing on that makes us feel amazing, we want to feel amazing everywhere.
And it starts with, as you were saying, we have to know who we are, who we want to be. And I remember years ago reading the book by Jack Canfield, Success Principles. And he talked about, there was a gentleman who wanted to be successful.
Love this story.
He bought that one shirt. It was like,
yep.
I remember it was like $100 or $300, yep. some crazy. He's like, I can't afford this, but he bought the shirt. And every time he'd wear it, it was just like, this is who he saw himself as. And he stepped into it.
Yep. That's exactly how it works. And I think I thought that, I was a stylist. I worked in retail with clothing long before I understood the mindset piece. It's only after so many, because the fitting room and the closet is similar, I think, to the hairdresser's chair. Like there's a lot of confession that happens in those spaces, maybe even more so because it's more intimate than the hairdresser's chair where you're surrounded by other patrons. So I hear a lot of, I hear all the body image things, and I hear all the old stories of what parents maybe told them or old boyfriends told them. I hear the shame and all of that stuff that gets in the way of them showing up and choosing to look the way they really would like to look now in their today body, because it's not really ever the body's fault. It's not the body's problem. It's really what goes on in our head. There is a garment to make every size body look amazing. It's not, yes, our society and our media would have us think differently, but that's actually not true, because I have seen every shaped body look amazing and see the woman in that outfit, or the man, because I have, I don't work that often with men, but I worked with a client, 37-year-old man who was promoted to the CEO of a company. And he had just been in the company, but in a totally different role. And he's very tall and lean, and always was told that his arms were too long to wear certain things. And so once we kind of got around that no, in fact, that's not true. Your arms are not too long. You do not have to shop at the big and tall store. We can find things that look great at Nordstrom Rack, right, fresh off the rack. So I think the mindset piece is so connected, because if we don't realize that that's affecting us, we blame the clothes or we blame the body, when that really isn't usually the problem.
All right, so I'm going to open up. If you have questions, we do want to make this interactive, so you definitely put questions down there. We'll make sure that Kristen has the opportunity to answer those. So talk about minimalist and simplifying things. Because I remember when you were at 9, you did a little class and you were talking about different things to put together, and it blew my mind. So how can people look at what they have and create multiple outfits and still feel like they're $1 million when they show up.
So so I'm not a full-blown minimalist. In fact, if my family could hear me now, they would be laughing. I do like simple, and I believe in fewer, better things, clothing and otherwise. That's just sort of my jam, but I'm not a stark cement house, minimalist type person. I like things. With regards to the wardrobe, I have found that most women and men are better though, because men buy suits and shirts and ties and they mix and match them. They're better at that. And then they wear the same t-shirts from college, usually, by and large, the clients I work with. So men could use usually some help in the kind of date casual wear, actually buying new pieces that support who they want to show up as in that realm, because I think they usually want to show up as the college self, but they need to kind of keep up with the times. But men are better at the mix and matching of a few great suits and and they're in great fabrics. They usually buy a better quality suit that they can wear often, where women tend to buy lower quality clothing because they want to collect more because they think they'll look better with more. What I usually find is that women who have any number of clothing, usually the women with the most packed closets, end up wearing what the statistic says is 20% of our clothing 80% of the time. So we have these packed closets and we're only wearing this tiny little selection for a number of reasons. It doesn't fit, I spend too much money on it, and it doesn't fit, or I don't like it, or it reminds me of an old boyfriend, or whatever the reasons are that we flip through the hangers and we don't end up wearing that other 80%. We're saving it for a better occasion, whatever the reasons. We have 20% of our wardrobe that actually supports the life that we live and that we actually enjoy putting on. Why do we need the other 80%? With the exception of workout clothes and home clothes and formal wear, which I'm not really including in that other 80%, we don't need it. And so I'm not a firm believer in a capsule wardrobe of 30 pieces and nothing more, and how dare you go over that at all. But I'm a believer in having everything in your closet light you up, and only things in your closet that light you up. And if for someone that is 200 pieces and they change their clothes often and they wear all of it, no problem. I have plenty of clients like that. And if for another woman, it is 12 pieces that they wear on repeat and they are well made and they last, I'm totally good with that too. It's really a matter of simplifying to the point where you wear what you own, instead of having the guilt and the mind game of having to look at all the stuff that's hanging there that you're not wearing and feel bad about it. And whether that's a temporary removal where you go in and you pull out the things that you really love and you put them on the rack and you edit out everything else and put it in a box in a different bedroom for a while and see how it feels to just wear the things that you actually are enjoying. Usually we don't miss the pieces that are in the box, because the simplicity of having pieces that you love in your wardrobe is that you can get dressed easily. You don't have to go through that mental, gymnastics of, oh, I like this, but it doesn't fit, or it itches, or I don't have anything to wear it with, or whatever all of that is that's in our head when we're in our closet. If everything in our wardrobe, it fits and we like it and it serves the life we live, it's not for the villa in Mexico that we don't actually have, but it fits the climate and what we do on a daily basis, getting dressed is a breeze. And it's fun because you like what's in there. So that's where I come from, simplicity. I don't care how much clothing a woman has if she's using it and she loves it.
You were talking about people who, you're holding on to the villa in Mexico. And I remember I was given, this was years ago, I was given a bunch of clothes from someone, and it was actually a young lady who it was horrible. She had passed away suddenly, wasn't expecting it. And when I went through these clothes, there was all these brand new clothes with tags on them. And it just, that stuck with me, because we put things off and we put things off and we put things off. And my aunt did the same thing. When my aunt passed away and we went through her things, she had all these brand new, pieces of clothing with price tags still on them. So where do people start? Because it can be overwhelming. And I'm sure that you have a process. Knowing you have a process. So when people are looking at their closet going, okay, first and foremost, I know I need to love my clothing. How do they get rid? What's the mindset? What's the process to start minimalizing or simplifying?
So the clothing with tags on it, I guess, first and foremost, before you even go in the closet, is really getting a little bit of clarity about how you want to show up and who you want to be. And I usually do that with clients with like 3 words. I have them kind of do, a thought download of how they want to feel in their clothing, how they feel in their current clothing. There's some homework that goes along with me coming into the closet before I get there, how they want to feel in their clothing, how their, family would describe their clothing, what their dream style is, someone they admire, how do they look, what what words would they use to describe that person's clothing? So that if ultimately we get down to kind of 3 words that are the litmus test or become the litmus test, the filter through which anything they're going to edit has to pass, and anything they're going to buy to bring into their wardrobe has to pass through that. And you can change your words. You know, I tend to not want to make a decision. So for a long time, I was like, well, how can I possibly pick 3 words? You pick 3 words and you work with those. And if those don't feel like they're the right words, then you tweak them. So once you nail your 3 words, and my 3 words are usually simple, authentic, and beautiful. Is it simple? Like, if it's fussy and it's, you know, the sleeves get stuck under things, or it's ruffly, or I like to iron, but if it has to be ironed before I wear it, that's not simple to me. And authentic, again, I don't really wear ruffles. So if it's ruffly, it's not authentic. Or if it's yellow, it's not authentic. What is authentic to me usually is, you know, that is definitely a category. And then beautiful, do I feel pretty in it? You know, does it make me feel beautiful? And if not, why is it in my closet? Whether that's pajamas, whether it's home clothes. So first is getting clear on the 3 words that you would want to describe your clothing. Most women pick comfortable as one of those words. I would like to say that I think we could leave that one out. I don't believe anything in your closet shouldn't be comfortable. I don't think women or men should wear clothing that's not comfortable. Almost everything in my closet, with few exceptions, could go on an airplane overnight and I would be comfortable. Whether it's my jeans, whether it's my sweaters, I don't wear things that itch. I don't wear things that are too tight. So comfortable is fine if you can't come up with one more, but I think that comfortable should be a non-negotiable. Yes, it should be comfortable. Then pick the 3 words that would kind of be your filter for what you want in your wardrobe, how you want to feel and look in your clothing. Then with those 3 words in mind, you can either start in the closet, or you can start like on Pinterest. In the olden days, it was with magazines. Now Pinterest is way easier. And start to type things in. What's your favorite piece that you've ever worn? It's a blue and white striped shirt. So type in blue and white striped shirt outfits for a woman in her 50s. You know, whatever. Pinterest is super great, and it will let you type in anything to the subject line, and then start searching, because within 10 minutes, you're going to start to create a collection of looks you like. And you'll find yourself smiling at, oh, I like that combination. I have a pair of white jeans and a blue and white striped shirt that's kind of like that, and a pair of white sneakers. And she has red sneakers on, and that would be kind of fun, but I can wear my white. Start to really create sort of a lookbook of looks that you like. Whether you own any of those pieces or not, you're creating the dream. You're creating the vision of, if these are my words, what does that person wear? And Pinterest is the easiest, fastest place to put together a Pinterest board, free, you know, that has a lot of images on it. And they can be pictures of interiors, just that you like the colors and the textures. It doesn't all have to be outfits. Pay no attention to the shoes. Pinterest always has heels on their models, because models photograph better in heels. Disregard the shoes. You can put on a pair of cute sneakers with pretty much any outfit on Pinterest. So don't let the heels scare you. And then go into your closet when it's time to edit and or get dressed for something, and think of your Pinterest board, you know, the looks that you've created. Think of your words. And as you go through, let's say to edit, you pull out, you know, a sweater. Okay, is it simple, authentic, and beautiful? If it's not, then out it goes. Or if it could be, but it would need something, it would need a scarf, or it would need a pretty necklace, or it needs a better pair of jeans to wear it with. Make notes, you know, make note of that so that you know what you might need to add. And when you're shopping, is it simple, authentic, and beautiful? If it's not, you know, whatever your words are, if it's not, then it doesn't go home with you. Make it very non-negotiable. Don't, because the sale price or the sales associate, or, you know, you think it might work, but you don't think you're worth the one that's slightly better or that might take longer to find. Don't mess around with that. Whatever your words are, let the clothing, you know, only that filters through, you know, that comes through those filters with shining, you know, bright colors, you know, with flying colors, let that into your wardrobe.
I love that. 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when people outgrow their clothes, whether they lose too much weight or they gain too much weight, and they've had these favorite clothes that are sitting in their wardrobe and they don't want to get rid of it, and it's someday, and then someday ends up being someday, and then the style goes away, but they still don't want to get rid of it. How do you help them?
That's a good question. So I had a pair of amazing little black flat shoes that I loved. And I ultimately started to wear out. I had to polish them before I could even leave the bedroom in them. They were looking awful. And I knew it, but I couldn't find another pair I liked as much. And I was really struggling to release these shoes. sure enough, I decide, okay, Kristen, it's time. These shoes look like trash. They need to go. I got rid of these shoes. About 2 days later, I went to the eye doctor. After my eye doctor's appointment, my eyes had been dilated, but I stopped at DSW. I thought, why not? I'm wasting some time. I have my dark shades on. And I get to the aisle where these shoes, where the black shoes like mine would be. And I'm not specifically looking for them. And there they are, literally same brand, same shoe. And I kind of can't believe my eyes that are now dilated. And I walk to the counter and I say to the girl, what are these, a size 10? Yes. I slip them on. They feel good. I buy them. They are literally a duplicate for the ones I finally got rid of. So there is energy in this, in everything. And there is certainly energy in the clothing we hang on to. And so by releasing old clothing that is stale, stagnant energy in our closet, the fastest way to get the new thing in is to get rid of the old thing. So that's my first feeling, is that we need to it needs to flow. We can't have a new fabulous something come in until we're willing to let go and release the old thing that isn't serving us. And so I think that it's a matter of, I have no problem with, women, a lot of my clients are in the childbearing years, so their bodies are changing all the time. I have no problem holding on to favorites that you really might wear again with a weight change. I don't think they should be in your active wardrobe. I don't think they should be hanging in your closet, reminding you that they don't fit. So they should be boxed up and tucked in another room, tucked in the basement, so that you can revisit them later. For the most part, when it's time to revisit them, with the exception of sometimes chunky, great sweaters, most women are like, yeah, I saved those jeans, but I don't really ever want to wear them again, because either the style changed or they've finally let go. They removed it from their closet. There was enough space and time that lapsed. And then when they revisit them, even if they do fit, they've usually kind of, they've moved on from them. So I think it's a matter of being okay with letting go of things without the guilt. Whether it's a gift that someone gave you, whether it's something you spent a lot of money on, whether it's a body image thing and they no longer fit and you feel bad about that weight gain or weight loss, really realizing that it doesn't say anything about you. It's not your fault. It's, you're not a bad person for not having the jeans fit. You're not a bad person for letting go of something your Aunt Mildred gave you that you never really liked. You should have clothing that lights you up and that supports the life you live. And if that's not what's hanging in your closet, those pieces should go, because oftentimes those pieces are going to the home of the person that would be supported by those and they would light them up. If you're giving things to Goodwill or you're selling them at a consignment store, the things that I find consignment, I'm thrilled somebody decided that they were finished with those, because they're making my life, better, and they're lighting me up when I get to wear them. So the faster you can get the old stale things out that really aren't serving you for whatever reason, and let go of the guilt, realize that the best way for you to step into who you're meant to be is to be supported by the wardrobe you wear. Let the pieces go.
Reminds me of the garage sale analogy, right? Someone's trash is someone else's treasure.
Treasure, totally,
and
totally.
There's somebody that needs what we have, and
yep.
When we hang on to it, almost comes to that place of lack versus abundance.
Completely.
Let go.
Completely.
I just went through. Well, it was about a month and a half ago. I must have put 8 bags of clothes together, like 8 bags of clothes. And I just wanted to give them to somebody who could use them.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
So what happens if you have something that you absolutely love wearing and someone tells you, and you have it on, you shouldn't wear that. It doesn't look good on you. It's not attractive.
I think first I would question the person. I would pay attention to who that is. Do we believe that person? Do we trust that person's opinion? Is it a trusted friend or a daughter or, a husband who really has your best interest at heart? Because certainly someone could say that out of envy or jealousy or for some ulterior motive, where if it's someone you trust and respect. I remember a long, long time ago, I had a couple of kind of jumper-like dresses that I loved. And my now husband, very frankly, was like, I guess I asked him something about my wardrobe and he was like, yeah, those should go. And in hindsight, for a boyfriend, I'm sure they were like, why are you wearing that sack? For me, they were like these chic, flowy, fabulous. They went. I took him, I took his word on it and they went. So I do think that if it's someone you love and trust and they're coming from a good place, there are times when we can't see ourselves clearly because we have it as an old favorite, and for whatever reason it did support the life we were living, or it made us feel amazing when we first got it or for years after, but it's run its course, whether it's because it's worn out, whether it's because our body has changed and it's no longer as flattering, whether they're just tired of looking at it. I've certainly had my daughter say, Mom, like that skirt can go. We're done looking at that skirt. You know, there was nothing wrong with the skirt. It was just kind of tired. It was time to let it go. So I think it's a matter of who it's coming from, and then have a conversation about it and let them kind of inform how they see you and what they think would be more flattering and what's wrong with this piece. Why do you say that? You know, where does that come from? Because they might have some insight that we're not seeing, and it would be wise to, you know, to let it in. And then we can still disagree. We can still say, you know what, I feel amazing in this, so I'm going to still, you know, keep wearing it, just maybe not around them. I had a blouse that I loved, floral and not floral. It was kind of paisley and kind of orange and navy. It was very unusual, but I loved it. And it was one of the few things of color in my wardrobe. And my husband did not like it. And so I really just only wore it to work, or only wore it when I was out with friends. I didn't wear it around him because I still loved it, but I didn't want to subject him to, you know, looking at me in the blouse he didn't like. So it really, you know, kind of, I think it matters who the person is and how much you trust their opinion, and then kind of getting into a conversation so that you can learn from it, you know, well, what should I maybe do differently with regards to, you know, letting go or buying new clothing. Because we want to look good for other people, but we really want to look and feel good for ourselves.
I've had some of those conversations with Eric. I go to walk out and he goes, you're going to go to the store looking like that? I'm like, what's wrong with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have the best intentions, I think. Right.
They do. Yeah. Because I say this in love. You shouldn't wear that again.
Right. Exactly. That should go. Right. Yeah.
I love just where it started, where you talked about with your friends going in each other's closets. How do we create that? How do we create a community like that?
That's a good question. So I think oftentimes I hear, you know, women will say, well, I can't afford to buy a whole new wardrobe, so what am I supposed to do? And I think there are a few things, you know, certainly I believe in buying fewer, better pieces. So I do believe that there are times when you should wait to buy something and invest in it. If it's a sweater you're going to wear often, or a blazer, or a great pair of jeans, I do believe in investing in good quality pieces. I also believe that good quality pieces can be found secondhand. I think the world of resale clothing is obviously way more sustainable for our planet. And there is amazing clothing out there that people are letting go because it's no longer serving them, but can still be utilized by someone else. And I also think you can find great pieces at Old Navy and Target, and, you know, really friendly price points. And so I think that, I lost my train of thought. There are some soccer players outside. I just lost my train of thought. I think that what was your original question? Because I had a point.
Oh my God. What was my original
Good,
question?
we don't All right, hang on, let me think. Oh, the swaps, about how to create that community. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Good thing somebody's paying attention here. Okay, so I think that, first of all, I think you can acquire clothing without spending a lot of money, is my first point. Thank you, Tiffany. Second of all, with regards to the swap, I think, first of all, whether it's a daughter or whether it's a friend whose style you admire, I think you can say, you know what, most women are more bored with their clothing and could use help than not. It's a rare woman who has it all dialed in with her style and doesn't want any help in that regard, and is wearing everything happily in her closet. Usually there are some pieces that she'd love to figure out how to wear, but she's not sure how. So I think a couple of things. You can physically go into each other's closets. Okay, you know what? I'm coming to your house today, Amber, and I'm gonna shop your closet and create some new outfits for you, because it really truly is a new set of eyes. You're gonna put things together differently than she would. And if she comes to your house and does it, she's gonna put things differently, and kind of commit to each other. Okay, you make me 3 outfits and I will wear them sometime in the next week. I commit to putting head to toe on and see how you feel. Like, how does this new combo feel to you? The other thing I think you can do is truly go to a store with a friend with that piece you don't know how to wear. So I have a jacket that I don't know what to wear with it, or I need a new pair of jeans to wear with this sweater. I don't have the right rise of jeans. All my jeans are low rise. Now I need a pair that's more high rise. Bring the piece that's sort of the trouble piece, and have the friend help you find a piece to wear with it. I mean, the sales associates are going to be great because they know the merchandise in the store, but sometimes it's a little bit easier and less scary to have a friend help or a daughter help. And with regards to swaps, I did swaps a long time ago, again, out of sort of desperation of I wanted new clothes and didn't really have any money to be spending on new clothes. And all of my friends kind of felt the same way. So everybody would donate 10 to 15 pieces of clothing and drop them off at my house. And we would, hang them up on rolling racks. I rented rolling racks from the, party place. We would hang them up on rolling racks and prop up a couple of mirrors and have some wine and cheese. And everybody would bring a couple empty shopping bags and they would swap clothing. And you could see in the beginning, there was this hesitation of, I'm not sure, whatever. And then they were reminded that it's free. It's like, there's no investment here. Take it home, see if you love it. If you don't, donate it, So it was really a fun way. And we do it at Anthropologie too, because the Anthropologie girls obviously have usually a lot of Anthropologie clothing and then they want to buy more and they, and so we've done swaps with Anthropologie staff where everybody gets together and swaps clothing, and it's all different shapes and sizes, but usually there's some overlap, somebody's sweaters will fit, somebody else, or somebody's jeans will fit somebody else. And it's just fun. And my family jokes that I have airplane pants, which are pants that I can always wear on the airplane. They have the right amount of pockets. They're comfortable sitting down. They're airplane pants. My very first pair of airplane pants came from a swap. And that's where airplane pants were born for me. I was like, these would be great on the airplane. I now need airplane pants in my wardrobe that are, kind of my go-to travel pants. So a swap is a great way, to kind of start to create that community, or just one-on-one with a friend, or a family member who you want to go in their closet and make some new outfits.
Oh, fun. I mean, it takes care of the need for connection, the need for that friendship. And like you said, it's free. Like, we're just getting together to help each other out. We're having fun. Right. And you know what? This doesn't fit, or I'm not seeing this through I need a different set of lenses. I need a different set of filters. Yep. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. And it helps you with the letting go process. A swap is a really safe spot to share it with a friend and feel better about giving away something someone gave you that you never got any use out of, or something that no longer fits because you see it on your friend and it looks amazing and you're happy that it's going to a good home.
Absolutely. All right, we have 5 minutes left. So this is your closing thoughts. This is your podium. So what's the message that you want to get out to the listeners?
I think the main message, kind of the takeaway that I feel is most important with regards to style, is that having incredible style does not have to be complicated or expensive. I think for the most part, we tend to make it more difficult. We tend to make most of life more difficult than it needs to be. At least I do. And I find that most people I interact with do. And style is definitely that. There's so much information out there that makes it seem like we can make a mistake with style. I really don't think that's true. If we buy something that's not right, we can usually return it. I suggest that people only shop where they can return things, with the exception of resale. Sometimes, that's not an option. But I think that if we can make it more simple, it doesn't need to be complicated. We don't need to wear the latest trend. We don't need to wear colors that don't flatter us. We don't need to wear itchy sweaters just because everyone else is. We really can simplify it to the point where we have a few good pieces that we really like wearing, and it doesn't have to be expensive, whether it's swapping, whether it's resale, whether, it's thrift shop, whether it's a lower priced end, whether it's saving to buy one really great piece that you wear 5 times a week. It doesn't have to be expensive, and we're worth it. I think along the line somewhere, shopping and looking great in our clothing became this frivolous thing that was not really necessary, that if we spent too much time on how we look, that we were vain, and that, that wasn't okay. And I really think that it doesn't need to be something that is our constant, thought, that we're always thinking about what to wear and how we look. But if we don't put some effort and intention into it ever, then we can't ever have that kind of effortless, great style that we're all sort of looking for if we don't ever put any time and energy into it. So I think it's worth paying attention to, so that then we can kind of forget about it because it's on autopilot, because we have the amazing pieces that we want to wear.
Well, I'm going to launch this for just last minute feedback for everyone who's on the webinar. And if you're watching this on Facebook, whether it's now or later, because it will be hosted on my site and also Kristen's, if you want to get into contact with her, so you still have your workshops, right?
I do some workshops. Most of the times I'm doing workshops for someone like this. And there will be some some new workshops coming up that, will just be for anyone to attend. And that's always available kind of on my Instagram or on my website, which is kristencainstyle.com. And yeah, I work one-on-one with people on Zoom and in closets, and I travel, especially now that the pandemic is over. I have a lot of clients in Arizona. And so I will decide, oh, you know what? It's January in Colorado. I think I want to go to Arizona. And then I just kind of put the notice up on Instagram and say, I'm coming to Arizona. Anybody want some closet help? And so the last time I was there, I worked with 5 or 6 women, either in their closets or one woman needed shoes. So we went shoe shopping. And so I get to see some palm trees in warm weather. And I also get to go help some clients. So I do travel. It's just, I haven't been traveling much. I've been doing more, online. And now I have a client tomorrow in Boulder back in the closet. So that'll be fun.
I just am in awe, awe of the growth in you from Pico Hot Springs, and just the conversation, and then I had the opportunity to see, have you in Bold too, but just, oh my gosh, Kristen, to watch you own your superpower, it chokes me up. You're such a badass. To see just who you are and to step in and to shine. This is, if you're listening, if you need help, Kristen is you're the most authentic person I know, and
thank you.
Humble. And I'm just so honored to know you, to be a friend. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you. That means an immense amount coming from you. And I feel the same way, absolutely the same way. And I appreciate the authenticity shout out, because I am very honest. I'm kind and honest, because I've known stylists who are kind of bitchy and honest. That's not my jam. I don't want a woman to be wearing anything that doesn't light her up. And so I'm not afraid to say that. I had a client yesterday at Anthropology, came out in this blouse that was adorable. She was super petite and it overpowered her. And so another woman who works at Anthro was like, I think it's cute. And so after she walked away, the girl said, what do you think? And I said, honestly, I think it's too big. You're in there, but you can't see you. So I'm always, going to give the honest opinion, because I really want women and men to show up, authentically and feeling fabulous in what they own.
Janice Gladue, she's from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in Canada. She says, I want you to visit me in my closet.
That sounds wonderful.
Janice is amazing. Yeah, and Lisa, thank you so much. I'm in the process of purging my closet and love the 3-word thought of my closet: functionality, simple, and beautiful.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Good.
That's excellent.
So good. Thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Mary.
Rest of your day, your week, and I'll share your information too on the website or
Perfect.
on Facebook
Awesome.
Live as well, so they can get in contact with you.
Terrific. Thank you, Mary, so much. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a great day.